Hello everyone, my name is Tarun. So far we have completed 2 videos on the basics of computer vision. So we will now study a few more interesting concepts like thresholding, image contours and moments. So let's get started. Thresholding is a process to convert color images to black and white images. Technically, a black and white image is called a binary image. Binary format is nothing but zeros and ones. In our case, since we are dealing with images over here, a binary image is an image which has only two values for a pixel. One is 0, which means the pixel is black, and the other is 255, which means the pixel is white. So, this process is also called as binarization. Unlike RGB or any other type of color image, a binary image has only a single channel. Now let us see how thresholding is done. To change a pixel value to either 0 or 255, we need to have a criteria. This criteria is nothing but choosing a threshold value. As you can see, the graph represents the pixel values in a grayscale image. The blue line represents the threshold value. Now all the pixels greater than the blue line or the threshold value are changed to 255, and all the pixels that are less than the threshold value are changed to 0. The output of that process is given on the graph on the right. So far what we have seen is simple binarization, but we have other types of thresholding techniques too. One of them is binary inverse, which means all the values that are less than the threshold value are changed to white, and all the pixels that are greater than the threshold value are changed to black. This is nothing but the bitwise NOT of the binary image. Now that we know what thresholding is in theory, we will now try to achieve this using OpenCV. To apply thresholding, we need a single channeled image. So I have loaded the image in color and converted it into grayscale image using cv2.cvt color. To binarize an image, we have a function called cv2.threshold in OpenCV which takes 4 arguments. The first is the source, which is the image that we want to binarize. Second is the threshold value. Third is the max value, which in our case is 255. And the fourth argument is the method of binarization like thresh binary or thresh binary inverse. Let us pass 127 as the thresh value, because 127 is the global threshold value. Pass 255 as the max value because 255 represents white. Since this is a thresh flag, we have thresh at the beginning of the flag. Thresh underscore binary inverse, and all these are the types of thresholding techniques. We will be using simple binarization, which is thresh underscore binary. This function returns two things. One is the binarized image and the other is the threshold value. I am collecting them into redval and binary. Now let us try to display this binarized image. Unfortunately, the global threshold value 127 does not work for our image. So we need to have another method to calculate the threshold value accurately. So to calculate that threshold value automatically, we have two binarization techniques called Otsu's binarization and triangle method. To use Otsu's binarization method, we just have to pass an additional flag in the type of binarization in this. Just add cv2.thresh underscore Otsu to the flag plus cv2 dot Now let us try to print the red value. As you can see, the Utsu's binarization method calculated the threshold value as 148. But unfortunately, this Utsu's binarization method also doesn't work for our image. So we will now study about another function called cv2.inRange. Now that we have seen what thresholding is, we will now look at the inRange function. Unlike thresholding, if we want to extract a color between two color limits, we go for inRange function. The output of this inRange function is a binarized image, and not just that. If you look at the original image, out of all the shades of blue, and if you look at the bottom right image, we were able to extract a particular shade of blue, that is sky blue. This is the speciality of inRange function. As we have seen what inRange function is, we will now try to code it and understand. Before directly using the inRange function, we need to convert our image to a color space that is convenient when dealing with intensities. So we will try to convert it into YCRCB. I have already converted it into YCRCB and have displayed the image over here. Now let us use the inRange function. This inRange function, what it basically does is it checks if the pixel value lies between the given upper and lower limit, and if it is present, it marks the pixel as white. If it is not, then the pixel is black. So basically it collects all the pixels that lie between the given limits. Let us try to set the upper and lower limits for the YCRCB image. These are the lower limits and these are the higher limits. This np.array takes these limits and converts them into an array and returns the array. This low represents the array of color in the form of an array, and this high represents the higher limit in the form of an array. Let us try to print these limits. See, this is an array. This is a one-dimensional array which represents lower limit, and this is a one-dimensional array which represents the higher limit. Now let us pass the YCRCB image and the limits to the inRange function. This inRange function takes three arguments. First is the source, in which we want to extract the color. The second argument is the lower limit, and the third argument is the higher limit. This function returns a binarized image, so let us store it in mask. And let us try to display this mask. You may have noticed that this is far more efficient and accurate when we deal with extracting colors, unlike thresholding. We got a clear output of the bottle. What are contours? A contour is a curve joining all the continuous points. In our case, all the points that separate black and white pixels, the boundary. As you can see, the outer red boundary of the hand is a contour. Now that we know what contours are, we will now look into image moments. What are moments? A moment is defined as the product of distance and a quantity. Here in our case, the quantity is the pixel value. Image moments help us calculate some features like center of mass of the object, area of the object, etc. Now let's get into some maths behind image moments and their calculation. There are different kinds of moments like first order moments, second order moments, and so on. This is a generalized formula to calculate moments. Let us understand this formula by calculating the centroid of the contour. Centroid of an object is its center. Here in our case, the object is nothing but the contour, or the contour that is drawn around an object in an image. And center is simply the average of something. As you may notice, the matrix on the right has only zeros and ones, which implies that it is a binarized image. The white boxes represent the white area and the black boxes represent the black pixels in the image. Since this is a two-dimensional image, we need to calculate the moments in x direction as well as in y direction. To calculate them, we will take the help of the previous formula. Here, I and j represent the x and y directions respectively. If you put I equal to 0 and j equal to 1, m10, you get the moment in x direction. Similarly, if you put 0, 1 for the ordered pair I and j, you get y moments m01. If you put both as zeros, you get the sum of all the pixel values, which is nothing but the area of the contour. That means the sum of all the pixels in an image that are white. As we know what contours are, we will now try to extract the contour of the bottle. To find the contours in an image, we have a function called cv2.findContours in OpenCV. It takes 3 arguments in general. The first one is the image in which we want to find the contours. Second one is the retrieval method. There are 5 retrieval methods. Retrieval method is nothing but how we want to calculate the contours. That means do we want to calculate the external contour, or do we want to calculate all the contours in the form of a tree, or do we just want to calculate all contours in the form of a list. So we will be calculating the external contour itself, because we don't need the internal contours. We only need the bottle contour. Third one is the approximation method, which is used to approximate the points on the contour. If we want to calculate all the points on the contour, we use cv2.chainApproxNone. If we only want the endpoints of the contour so that we can join the endpoints and draw the contour, we will use cv2.chainApproxSimple. Let us try to print the length of the contours. As you can see, the length of the contours is 1. Because we have calculated only the external contour, we will only get the bottle contour over here. As we have the list of contours, we will now get the bottle contour by accessing it from the list. Contours of 0 gives the bottle contour. Now we will try to draw the contour on the original image. For that, we will make a copy of the original image first. Now there is a function in OpenCV called cv2.drawContours to draw contours on images. The cv2.drawContours takes 5 arguments in general. First is the image on which we want to draw the contours. Second is the total list of contours. Third is the index of the contour in the list of contours that we want to draw. And fourth is the color, and let's pass green as of now. And fifth is the thickness of the contour. The first is the image, we'll pass image underscore copy. And second is the list of contours, so we'll pass or we can directly pass bottle contour over here. And third is the index, since we have only one, we'll pass 0. Fourth is the color, 0, 255, 0, which represents green. And fifth is the thickness. And we'll try to show the image underscore copy. Here there is no destination, because the destination is the source itself. This cv2.drawContours, what it does is it takes the source and draws the contours on the source itself. So it does not return another image as an output. As you can see, there is a green contour around our bottle. Now we have the bottle contour. So we will try to make all the other parts of the image other than the bottle to black. For that, we need to mask the image with a black mask such that only the bottle is visible. So for that, we will make use of the numpy module and a function in numpy module, numpy.zeros. Numpy.zeros takes two arguments. First is the shape. We want the shape of this mask to be equal to the shape of the original image. So we'll pass image.shape. And the dtype means data type. We also want the data type of this black mask to be equal to the data type of the original image. So we'll pass image.dtype and name this mask as black image. Now when you show this black image, you can see that the total image is black. Now what we have to do is we have to fill the part of the portion that covers the bottle with white. So for that we'll make use of the function cv2.drawContours. Change the source to black image and the color to white and the thickness to -1. When you pass thickness as -1, the draw contour functions fills the total contour. Instead of drawing a contour around the object, it totally fills the contour with the given color. As you can see, we have the portion of the bottle filled with white color. Now what we have to do is we have to perform bitwise AND operation with this mask and the original image. For that we have a function called cv2.bitwise AND. The first source is the image, the second source is the black mask, and the mask is none. We will store the result in bottle and show the bottle. As you can see, we are able to see only the bottle part in the image. The rest of the image is covered in black. In this way we can separate out the bottle from the rest of the image. Now to calculate the centroid of this bottle, we have to find the moments of this contour. For that we have a function called cv2.moments, which takes a contour as an input and returns the all the moments of that contour. Here we need to pass bottle contour and we'll collect the moments into m and try to print m. See, this is a dictionary of all the moments, out of which we'll be only needing m00, m01 and m10. So m00 is the area, and m10 is the moments in the x direction, m01 are the moments in the y direction, we have to we'll just typecast them into integers. And the area also. Now to get the x coordinates of the centroid Cx, we will divide the m10 with the area, m10 by area, and same goes with the y coordinate, m01 by area, and print Cx comma Cy. We have to actually typecast them for our convenience. 174, 212. This is what you have seen in the PPT. Now that we have the centroid coordinates, we will try to put these coordinates on an image, on the original image. For that, we will just copy this code snippet and execute it. See, you can see that there is a point and the coordinates written on an image in red color. To achieve this, we have cv2.putText, which actually puts text or writes text on images, and cv2.circle draws circles on an image using the center as well as the radius. In this way, we can separate out our desired objects from an image. We can do pretty much everything with OpenCV. Please do try these codes using your own images. All the materials that we have used in this video are available in the description. Thanks for watching.